welcome back to the Winner Circle. It's your girl, Tiffany. Hope everyone out there is doing fine. We are going to get into our BB24 recap, but first, remember to like, subscribe, and comment. Like, subscribe, and comment, and share. Share, please. Well, so let's see. What do we have going on? As we all know, Taylor is HOH. She won HOH, and now she's got the HOH room for the second week because she kind of spent last week with Monte on his HOH. So they got the room back, and they've been spending a lot of time together in this HOH room. I've not seen a whole lot of Brittany with anybody. I've seen Turner engaging and trying to figure out his place with Taylor and Monte. So they're like a throuple right now. So she wins HOH. She's got Beyonce Renaissance for her music. So she's turning everybody into Beyonce stands. They're coming over to the Beehive, especially Turner. Turner won some points. He's a Beehive person now. Well, to make sure that she was able to keep Brittany in the house this week, if that's what Taylor wanted to do, she would have needed to win veto. But she did not win veto. Monte won veto. And it's crazy because they had nominations so early, right after they had nominations the same day that she won that HOH. And then the veto, I don't know if they were like trying to speed this week up or not, but I was trying to figure out why everything happened so quickly. But anyway, Monte won HOH and Monte won veto. And of course, he wants to keep Turner. He does not believe that he's got a good shot of making it to final two if he is with Brittany and Taylor in a final three, because he knows that they would choose each other, even though Monte and Taylor have a final two. And he's trying to convince her that Turner is not as good mentally at these comps as Brittany is, and how Brittany's come close to winning. And he's just like, I don't think that we should risk the opportunity of her getting further. So for himself, he wants Turner there. And I think for Taylor's game, it is definitely just better for her to have Brittany there. They both, each of them wants to bring their final two. And even though they're supposed to be each other's final two, but they need a backup final two. So Monte ends up having a conversation with Taylor where he tells her, like, I would rather, well, actually, she asked him, she's like, why would you rather sit next to me in a final two than Turner? And he says, I'd rather lose to you than to lose to Turner. I think that it should be you and I sitting in those final two seats. And if I lose, I'd rather lose to you than lose to him. At that time, I did really believe that he felt that way. And I think at that time, he really did feel that way. And they've got, there's a lot of emotions running high in this house. 1 minute, it seems like they feel one way, and then the next, they're feeling totally different, which seems to be affecting their decisions. How they feel seems to be affecting their decisions. So when he said that he wanted to sit next to her, it seemed really genuine at the time. But they keep going through these emotional patches. Brittany is not really close with Taylor right now because, of course, Brittany voted Taylor out last week and she ended up becoming HOH. And Brittany has been pretending that it is Turner who voted against her when we all know it wasn't. And for a minute, I'm hoping, like, does Taylor know that Brittany through this vote and that it was not Turner and that Turner actually voted for her to stay. She's allowing Brittany to play that game with her. Like, yeah, I know, whatever. It was him. And Turner actually confronted Brittany about it in the bathroom where he's like, what was that vote about? So the tension in the house with Brittany and Taylor and Turner has been a little thick because Brittany knows that she voted Taylor out, and Taylor and everyone else knows it too, but Brittany's trying to play it off like she didn't. So the three of them, Turner, Monte, and Taylor, have been spending all of their time together, and I have no idea where Brittany's been. Most of the time I see her, she's just sitting on her bed very quietly staring at the ceiling. It's a little boring in the house. They got tie-dye last night. They were able to tie-dye and have some fun, but there's not a lot of game talk. There's not a lot going on. There's just this connection that Monte and Taylor have made where I think they're trying to figure out what they have started. Did they start a real romance? Did they hook up because it was like just passion, or do they actually have a future together? Do they want to be together after this? And I just don't think either one of them know that. So it's really complicated because they're not, neither one of them is really saying what they actually feel. She's not Cam talking, which is so weird, but I think she just easily could just be uncomfortable with the whole situation, not knowing exactly what's going on or how to express that. I mean, it's a lot to put your business out there and say to somebody like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. I'm not really sure exactly what I'm doing, but I know right now I'm doing this. So she's not saying anything about it. So we don't really know what her thoughts are. But something interesting happened. And I tried to watch this to get more from it. Apparently they're in the HOH room and Monte's asleep listening to Renaissance, Beyonce. He's listening to Taylor's iPod. And I guess it's her and I heard Brittany in the room. I believe Turner's in there too, or not. You guys will correct me if I'm wrong. I just saw this clip. And as he's sleeping and he snores, Taylor reaches over, snatches the headphones off and was like, headphones, she like puts them on. Just like, this is my HOH room. This is my music. This is my shit. You in here you got you in my room with my stuff. I control and run all of this week. This is mine. And so when I caught on to that, Monte at this point was downstairs at the kitchen counter talking to Turner. And people don't really even have a mixed response about this. They're just pretty much like, I don't know why he's mad about that. It was just some headphones. I think that I'm just going to throw my opinion out here about this just because of me. If I go over my girl's house, my best friend, even my cousin, I go over her house and I'm chilling and I'm asleep or awake. If I'm asleep, it's probably really not going to be a nice thing. But let's just say I'm awake and I'll just say I'm asleep like him. Let's just paint the picture. I'm asleep and I've got these headphones on and my best friend, my sister, my cousin just come and snatch it off my head. I am just the type of person where, for one, to me, that's rude. It is disrespectful and it is unnecessary. So I'm probably going to react in a way that maybe none of y'all agree with, because everybody seems to think that was not a big deal. It is just headphones, but it's not about the headphones. It's just about the act. And I myself would not like that. Like, I don't really respond well when people snatch anything from me or take something from me or grab something off of me. And this is regardless of relationship. I have a whole son that I love him more than any other human in the world. And if he snatches something off me, I might knock the shit out of him just to let him know that that's not what you do. And that's my son, and I love him with my whole heart. So I don't understand why people don't understand why Monte can feel that he didn't like that and that he can have a reaction to it. Now, the extent of his reaction, I don't know how upset he got about it. I don't know if that is what led to this conversation he has with Turner, but I can definitely understand how it can be frustrating because it's not really necessary. Um, so Turner and Monte have a conversation down in the kitchen where Monte ends up revealing to Turner that him and Taylor have hooked up. And it doesn't seem like Turner is all that shocked. It almost seems like he just was kind of waiting for the moment that Monte told him, like, oh, okay. And he says, is this going to be something that you end up doing after the show? Like, is this going to continue? And Monte says pretty much like, I had a biological situation that happened and I kind of gave in to that. And is this going to be the person that I'm going to be with for the rest of my life? No. And that actually seems to have people up in an uproar. And I'm actually not going to go too deep into my thoughts about it. But I thought that initially when they first hooked up, I thought that they were thinking the same thing. I thought that she wasn't interested in being with him in that way. She hadn't said anything about him before they hooked up. And I did think that he liked her, though. And I don't know how much, though, because he had not said anything either, but I did see him watching her. And it just looked like two individuals who found an attraction to each other and they hooked up, but I didn't know if they had planned on having a future or not. So to hear him say no, I don't think that that's surprising because I think that she was saying the same thing, except after they hooked up, things did start to change. If you have never watched Big Brother and you sat in front of an episode last week and saw Monte and Taylor, and then you saw an episode from 3 weeks ago, they are totally different today than 3 weeks ago. And we can say, yeah, because they've been hooking up. But are things, people say, oh, it doesn't have, things aren't supposed to change. They're just hooking up. Well, things do change when people hook up. And apparently some things have changed because they're obviously not just hooking up. They're cuddling, they're kissing, they're laying up. They're over here in Detroit, the guys call that sucker stroking. If you not trying to fall in love and you not trying to make her think that that's what it is, then you fucking get up. But, they laying together, they cuddling, they doing this every night. It's consistent. So maybe there are some feelings there. Maybe not. Either way it goes, he is in his feelings because of whatever. I don't know if it's just the headphones, if they've been spending an abundance of time together where he's not getting a break. It's just my own personal opinion. I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I think women, some of us need a break, some of us don't. Once we get this going to get on this train and it starts moving, then we are just moving with this train. I think men are just a little different. Men are like, hey, I am a rubber band, and intimacy like stretches out the rubber band. But at some point, men need to step back from what's going on and pull his rubber band back in tight again. They get stretched and they get stretched out, and then they need to regroup. And when they regroup, that's when they fall back a little bit, but it don't mean he don't like you. And it's kind of hard to fall back in this house. He can't fall back and get back into him. It's a constant. And so that can be overwhelming. I don't know. But whatever has happened with them, because they are not the same Monte and Taylor they were a week ago or 2 weeks ago. They're different, and it can probably be a little overwhelming. And so maybe he's thinking about how far they want to go. Maybe she's thinking about it. Maybe she doesn't know. We don't know if she likes him, wants to be with him or not. So I think it's fair for either one of them to say, I don't know if I want this to continue outside of the house. She can say the same thing that he's saying, and no one will attack her for saying that. Although a lot of people feel that men and women should be seen and viewed the same in the way they move. Men can do it, so why can't women? And so when a woman is doing it, we won't say anything. But anyway, these are double standards, and I'm not going to get too deep into them. All of this led up to Monte moving out of Taylor's HOH room today. He has packed up all of his things, and he has moved them back into the side room. I don't know what this means, but I do know this. They both have not communicated well when there's an uncomfortableness between them. They both obviously feel a certain way. I don't really know how Taylor feels at all. But Monte is expressing himself to Turner when it would be helpful to the both of them if, when he's feeling a certain way, he can go to Taylor and say, I feel uncomfortable about some things, and I don't want it to jeopardize what we have going on. But when you did that thing where you snatched the headphones off, I didn't like that. I wouldn't have done that to you. I would just appreciate the same respect and courtesy. And it just made me feel like maybe you don't respect me. And that would be hard for me to digest, because we are doing something here. And if we're considering doing something out there, then there's a certain level of respect that I would want us to have for each other. Now y'all gonna say, well, where was the respect week one when he was, I know, of course, obviously, I know. They also need to discuss that too. Respect should be mutual between the two of them. Yes, you have to give respect to get respect. We also don't know what she knows about what he said, what he's done. So right now, maybe to her, they're on a even playing field. Maybe they're not. Regardless, if we're going to level it, we need to be clear that I'm leveling the playing field. You disrespected me, so this is my disrespect to you, and now I feel like we're even, whatever it is. But there just does need to be some communication about to each other about the things that are bothering them, because it's going to start affecting their game. And it concerns me about Monte's commitment to the final two him and Taylor have, when he tells Turner about him and Taylor hooking up, because Turner could be like, so does that put her before me? Or maybe that's why Monte was like, nah, this ain't gonna be no out of the house thing. I ain't gonna be with her. Maybe that's game. We don't know. I don't know. Maybe y'all know. I don't know. Time will tell. But I do think that he gets emotional and he gets upset, and those emotions start to affect the way he thinks and the way he feels. And it shows. And I do think he should do a better job of communicating that to the people who actually are involved in the reasons why he feels the way he feels. So right now, Monte is back with his bromance. He's back with Turner. And I don't know that that is his final two, and that he wants to not move forward with Taylor. But I do think there's a crack in the foundation on Team Taylor, as they call themselves. So they really need to work on that. And it's crazy because we've seen them change the dynamics of how they interact over the course of the last week or so. And that can be challenging to navigate when you don't know where you're going with the person or what their intentions are. And I ain't gonna lie, when he said Monte changed the topic from him and Taylor when he was talking to Turner to Alyssa and Kyle, and he's talking about when they got together and how they got together, and Alyssa and Kyle are saying I love you to each other. I was wondering, because the feeds did cut and we didn't get to see a lot of conversation between Monte and Taylor in the HOH room. We don't know the conversation that they had. When he started talking about the relationship and how the dynamics of Alyssa and Kyle's relationship are, I was kind of wondering, like, did Monte and Taylor have a conversation around what are we doing? And do you care about me? Because I did hear her say the other night, they were laying together, and she's like, I think I like you, Monte, or I like you, Monte, something like that. And I've been in a lot of situations. I am a very mature woman, and I've been dating for a while, and it felt familiar to say in that intimate situation, like, I like you. And I think that's when a woman is being vulnerable and she wants this guy to know, this to me is a little more than us hooking up, like, I like you. And I wonder, did they have a conversation last night, since we didn't see, where maybe she might have asked him, like, how do you feel about me? Do you like me? Do you love me? I don't know. I'm just speculating and wondering how all of this uncomfortable tension got built up between them. And a lot of times that happens when women realize that we are in our feelings about a guy and he may not be meeting us there. And he may realize that he's not there and that we are somewhere that he's not. And then he's trying to pull back to scale it down a little bit. And then we're trying to reaffirm, but we're here. So how do you feel? I think it's all very confusing. And it's so hard to have a conversation like this in the house with people watching. It's hard to have a one-on-one conversation with someone to say, we've been getting closer. We've been doing some things. What does this mean? Like, how do you feel about me? Sometimes I don't want to know. I don't want to ask you. I want to just keep pretending in my mind that we are who I think we are. So you want me to have that conversation when everybody is listening and they can hear, and then you either have to lie to me because you know people are listening and watching too, or you try to pacify me and you don't mean it, or you can be honest and say, or you can easily not know. And I do think that it is easy to not know, because you can be a little confused. Like, we are living in a bubble. What is this? Anyway, that is what they have going on. That it's some weird energy going on between Monte and Taylor. And I do think that there are some emotions involved that they are both confused about. Do I like this person? How much do I like this person? How far do I want to go? How much do I want to say? Do I actually want to commit to this? Because I haven't even got to the outside world yet. And he did make some comments about, what did he say? It was something around the way they would have to have a conversation about the way she presents herself and being different in public and just then and behind closed doors when it's just them two. And I think that all of those things are very hard to they're not black and white because the scenario isn't black and white. They're still playing a game. So it's like, I can't really be the way with you I want to be with you in public. Because for one, I don't know if that's how you actually want me to be, in that if we are actually in that space, and then we're playing a game and we're not really like broadcasting this, but presents herself. I would like him to elaborate on that. I'm not sure exactly what he means. I have a clue. I have an idea, but y'all so touchy out there. I'm going to keep it to myself until I get more data, and then I'll report back maybe. So what it looks like is going to happen, which I'm pretty sure of, although Brittany has been pitching to Taylor, she wants to talk to Monte again. I don't think that there's anything Brittany can say to Monte that will make him keep her over Turner. I'm just not seeing that. It's not good for his game. It's not good for Monte's game at all to keep Brittany over Turner. I think that Turner will go all the way to the end with Monte, whether he feels he can win, lose, or draw. He just will go to the end with him. I think that Taylor's decision to go to the end with Monte, I think that it is 50-50 between him and Brittany, not because they would be the only two there. I'm sorry. Well, Brittany's not going to be there, but if Brittany was there, I don't know if she would know who she wanted to go with, because she's talked to him and she's promised him, and then but emotionally she may want to see that. She's definitely down for good TV. I think maybe she might think that that's a good TV move for them two to sit next to each other. But winning wise, it would definitely be Brittany. Brittany gone, Brittany out of the picture. She'd have to decide on if it's going to be Turner or Monte. And I think that I hope that she goes with what's going to win her the money. And I think a lot of us are saying, I hope she goes with what's going to win him the money. But a lot of people who are wanting Taylor to win aren't saying Monte should go for what would win him the money. They're like, he should go with what we want him to go with, which would be choosing Taylor. But that's one of those things that I mean that it's okay for a woman to be able to say, I'm not choosing a guy that I'm kicking it with, that I have feelings for, that I like, that I may want to hang out with later and see where it goes. I'm not choosing him. I'm choosing the money. And then we'll all clap and go, absolutely, girl, you show him, you do that. Because women should be able to do the same things as men. And then when men do it, it's like, I cannot believe he did that to her. He was just laying with her. I think that it can't be both ways. It has to be, it's like we got to pick and choose. If it's okay for the goose, it's okay for the gander. But that's just me and my solitary own one person out of all the billions of people, if there are billions of people. I am the only one who thinks like that. So anyhow, Turner, though, we don't talk about Turner a lot winning that final three and having to choose, but Turner could pull out a win. And if he pulls out a win, and I don't think Taylor is safe, Monte's resume is pretty good. So, but I still don't think that Turner takes Taylor, regardless of the resume. And I think Taylor takes Monte. And depending on how Taylor and Monte's relationship goes this week, I think that is what will make Monte's decision on who he will take. So I don't know. Y'all probably disagree with me on this, but I'd play nice. I'd play nice for one more week. I wouldn't snatch any more headphones. And it's not so that he can be nice or he can carry her or whatever. It's so I can win $750,000. If I got to be nice to you for 5 more days, I'm going to be nice to you. Y'all can call me whatever. But hopefully at the end of the show, y'all call me the winner. So I don't care. You got to play this game. And I am not a kisser butter either. But I will try to work my magic and keep my ass in that house so that I can get closer to that money. So if that means I don't piss nobody off, I'm going to try my hardest not to piss nobody off. I got 1 week to be nice. And I'd be mad later. Matter of fact, I'll let y'all be mad. Y'all do a great job of that. Anyway, so now we got to see what is happening because Monte moved out of Taylor's room. This just happened like tonight, right before I started recording. And I don't know what that means for their final 2 relationship. I don't know what that means for their showmance. And I'm hoping that she can reel him back in to keep her closer to him, because if he's not choosing her in the end of this game to sit, she's got to make sure that she is in the position that she gets to choose. And you may go, who should she choose if she has the opportunity to? So it's going to be a long couple of days, because the next thing that will happen is on Thursday, Monte will choose who he's going to evict. And it's going to be Brittany, I'm pretty sure. If it's not Brittany, that means she really pulled a trick out of her bag. So it's going to be a long week, because I'm sure she's going to try to do some campaigning to convince somebody to keep her. And it's a slow week too, because there's not a lot of action in this house. They are not the most entertaining people. And I said that. So I will still be watching for you guys, seeing what's going on. But I'm not getting into all the juicy details, because y'all know what's happening. Them 2 grown people are in there doing grown people stuff. And sometimes they end up paying the consequences for it. I will see you guys back here in a couple of days to fill you in on what else has happened. If Monte moves back upstairs, he should have never moved upstairs in the first place. He should have always kept his stuff downstairs, and he should have came up there and visit and did his business and then went back on downstairs. And I don't mean do his business like that, but handle their business, whatever. And then he should have went back home to his room anyway in the first place. Thank you guys for listening. Also, remember, like, subscribe, comment, share. Catch us on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. I will see you back here in a couple of days. Thanks for joining. I'm out.